Yes, I've got that there. Let me make it into full screen.
It's not it.
Hold on 1 second.
Easy. We're not rushing nowhere.
I had it earlier on. Where was it? Slideshow. Got it.
Slideshow. I think that's a third one from the end.
Yeah, that one should do it, hopefully.
Here we go. Hi, everyone. Today we have a presentation in English done by an Englishman. I met Raj about months and a few days ago. He was first time introduced to the whole concept. And for the last months, we were a lot of times on the phone, a lot of times on WhatsApp and whatever. And he already introduced the concept to a few of his friends with the good results and his family. And he will share it, how this whole concept works and why we all should join it. And not only join and be in it, but join and actively pursue what this concept is giving us as an opportunity. So from UK, Raj Balu.
Okay, guys. Hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. What I'm going to do today is run you through the Levilight's marketing plan. Now, for some of you, this will be totally new. And for some of you, maybe you've been introduced for a long time now, and you'd probably teach me one or two things about it. But I'll go through stage by stage and do my very best to give you good insight into what it's all about. Okay. So the whole concept is based around 4 ideas that have been put together, which we can talk about now individually. Product. Those of you who already familiarized yourself with the product don't really need an introduction. You can work out pretty much what the great things are about this. But those of you who are totally new, well, this is a unique creation, which is going to be, in some people's cases, life-changing. In some people's cases, it will give them a better lifestyle. And in some cases, it will help you in your daily routine. So product is definitely there. And there's a range of products there which vary up to about 29 products, I think, we're at the moment in the whole range. The profit side, this is a bioinformational product. Now, it's very successful in Europe, and it's just entered into the UK. But the idea here is to reach globalization. And with it being totally new, we are first in the queue, if you like, especially from the UK's point of view. And when you begin to understand how this system works, how the process works, you will soon understand how profitable this can be. Obviously, this is mainly to do with how much work, time, and effort you put in. So here's an interesting thing for you to think about. Is it better to have 1% of the work of 100 people, or to have 100% of your own work? That, in a nutshell, is how the plan works with Lavilight. So I'll come into more detail about that later on. The process? Well, it's multi-level marketing. And the idea is that we share the experience of this product. We share the information about this product with families and friends and people within our circles. And then by doing this, we create members. So anybody who wants to benefit from this product will become a member. They're introduced. The great thing is there's no contract, there's no conditions. And the bonus about all of this is those who are business minded or get so much interest in this that they can actually pursue this as a business, and that is another option that is really worth looking into. People. Okay, well, we're all influenced by people. We all influence each other. And you could say the kind of people that we hang around with, those are the kind of people which either give us a positive experience or negative. So depending on our lifestyle and how we go around things and the kind of circles we work in, that could depend on the quality of life that we have and how far we advance in life as well. So people is what makes this a success. People are the users, people are the sharers of the information, and it's people who actually then pursue the business side as well. Okay, here's the man himself, Tibor Jakovic. He's a Hungarian scientist, pharmaceutical scientist. He's a nanotechnology expert. This is the creator. Very private man, I understand, even though he is totally in love with nature. If he had his way, I think he'd be spending his time up in the mountains in all that heaven and glory. He's an excellent public speaker, and he goes around many places to share this creation and share this idea that he's developed. And what he has developed, well, it is nanotechnology. Now, again, listening to this, some of you may be thinking, what is nanotechnology and where are we? Well, look, you don't have to be scientifically minded to understand this, but it does give you a good idea why this product is unique in comparison to a lot of cosmetic products out there, biomedical informational products that are already out there. Nanometer. Nanometer, well, the way to understand this is the nano effectors, which is what Tibor has created. To compare that entering into your skin, well, this is how you compare a tennis ball entering into the world. That will give you an idea of the kind of size or scale we're working with. So you're talking minute, and that is the comparison to show you that. Nanotechnology is everywhere. So it's not unique to just products. You can come across it in general technology anyway, in wildlife and in animals. So that's something which is not new. However, the way Tibor has developed this technology and introduced it into this product, that's the uniqueness with this. Okay, nano effector, as I mentioned earlier, this is the carrier, the vehicle, if you like, which transports the information. Now, it's small enough to enter into DNA and even to penetrate into the bone marrow as well. So it carries the information, which then enters into through the skin. The spray that you would apply or the product that you would apply would virtually stay on the skin, but the nano effector is what would enter the skin. And this would penetrate through the body's own intelligence system. It would communicate, and it would be instructed where to arrive at. So, wherever there's a problem with the body with regards to healing or repair, that's its job to reach that destination. And that's done relatively quick. If you can read there, you can see it's done anything between 30 to 60 seconds, which is rapid. And this is another factor which makes this product very, very unique. Okay. Right. Tibor has spent in the region of 20 years of intense research developing this. The product's been around now for about 5 years in Europe, just entered the UK, as I mentioned. And in those 20 years of development, what he's managed to do is, with intense research, he succeeded in recording the specific information patterns of organic molecules, which effectively are medicinal plants. And then what he's gone on to do, he's made this information available directly to our body cells in the form of sprays, creams, and nutritional supplements. Okay. Energy fields, energy recordings, well, sound waves and color and recordings. Everything is around us has energy, and we can measure it in waves and sound, and that can all be recorded. And this is the technology that Tibor has utilized in his development. Energy fields there, as I mentioned, we're surrounded these days by GSM, Wi-Fi, magnetic fields, and they're all waves. And these are all, they can all be recorded, and you can pretty much see them anywhere around us these days. Living organisms. Okay, well, if you look at these images here, you'll be able to see how energy differs from its natural state to its unnatural state. So looking here at tomatoes and broccoli and the raw meat, if you look at them in the natural form, the energy levels are considerably high in comparison to their unnatural form. So everything that's kept in its natural state will have higher energy output. And this is something about the product that, again, is a unique thing to note, is that they are 100% natural, therefore maintaining high levels of energy. Okay, the Bovis scale. It's a tool that measures the life force energy level of any substance. That could be food, medicine, living beings, objects, or even geographical places. It's created by a French physician back in the 1930s, Anton Bovis. And if you look at it closely, you'll see there's a lot of different things listed around the circle. Some of them are geographical places, some of them, you can see humans there on the right-hand side. And you can see how much an individual being in different states of health, how they release different levels of energy. Now, it's said that anything that's recorded under 6,500 angstroms is in negative energy. Anything above 6,500 enters into positive energy. So I think they've stated there 8,000 angstroms is typically what you'd expect a human being to be for their reading. So if you follow it around, you can see the kind of things there. And this here really is to show you where the product Levylites sits. So bear with me, computer's running slow, I think. 1 second. So. Sorry, folks, bear with me. I think we have a slight malfunction. Okay. I can't find the slide in a minute, but I'll explain to you. If you can see my cursor here, the Levylites actually reads around this region here, which from my understanding is around 59,000 angstroms. Now that is a very, very high energy source. So it sits considerably high on this scale. Okay, the importance of the brain in this, well, one of the functions of this product, in order for it to work properly, is stimulation. And now when it enters the body, the nanoeffectors communicate with the brain and they stimulate certain parts of the brain which are responsible for repair and healing. And that's what you have there. The chromosomes, well, they say that as we age over time, cell division is a process which starts to diminish. Through the aging process, the chromosome ends here, as you can see the ones here marked in black, they start to deteriorate, in some cases disappear. Well, with the use of this product on a long-term basis, we can actually start to rejuvenate or regenerate cell division. And if we don't do that, then what we actually do is accelerate the aging process, which, okay, we're all going to go old, but it'd be nice to sort of slow the process down and maintain the cell division to prolong life as much as possible and keep the functions of the body running for as long as possible. So what we've got then is a range of products which have been divided into 5 categories. and they all have a separate purpose. If the first range is level, which really is to do with cleansing and caring, and that's probably the most universally applied. I'll come into more details with some of the products in a minute. Solvil is the detoxification range, which, and the only way I can describe that is quite serious detoxification. It's not something you'd book in at the local salon to be pampered with. That is quite a deep process where it does involve removing a lot of the metals, heavy metals that we pick up in our bodies through the environments that we work in. Exol is what you could call the cosmetics range, which is more associated with the regeneration, if you like. Havel is energy reactivation. It's more to do with the brain as well. And then you've got the Pentel, which is associated with the heart and circulatory system. Okay, Oricon. This is the main product. This is the one that you will probably be more familiar with for those of you who have been working with Lavy Lights now for a while. And certainly if you're a newcomer, this is probably one of the first products you'll get your hands on, because it is really known as the base product. And it's a form of a spray, which you can see there is in the size of 150 ml. And one of the important things with a lot of the products, all of the products in the range, is that they are to be shaken. So that is important to get the nanoparticles alive, if you like, waking them up, ready for applying, whether that's through a spray or a cream. So the spray actually does, as I mentioned earlier, stay on the surface of the skin, really. It's not uncomfortable, it doesn't get sticky or anything like that. You know, it's more of a mist, really, if you have tried it. And then, like I say, the nano effectors are the ones that actually enter through the body and get to the work, what they need to do. It's also a product which I think the list, can go on forever with this. It's got many applications, and it's even been described as an ambulance in a pocket. This is something that we reckon within a decade, I think you'll see very, very commonly lying around in houses and cars in every corner, which is something that, people will be able to keep with them constantly without even thinking about it. As I said, the uses, the wide variety of uses, from animal bites there to sort of outside activities to common complaints like back pains. So, and again, pretty much everybody who's now using these products or involved with Lavy Lights will have had some sort of benefit from this in some way, shape or form. Sensitive, again, same product as the first one, except without the alcohol. And, it could be more for sensitive areas of the body, especially with young babies as well, more appropriate for that. And even with people who have skin problems. The science side of the product is more based around the spine. Now, we all know the central nervous system. The spine holds the main cable, if you like, for information. And the way we use this product relies on that cable, relies on that line of communication. So the spine being in good health, if you like, is key. And this is one area which we target as a base product. We do spray around the spine from the top to the bottom, from both sides, that's the front and the back, which then is like a base treatment we use before we then go on to use additional products alongside, depending on what the actual complaint is. You've got to forgive me here, computer's a bit slow. Animals, well, the products can be used on any living organism. So obviously animals, plants and humans, absolutely no problem. Switzerland, I understand, is a big lover of animals, insofar as I think more than 50% of the product they're using or purchasing is actually for the animals. So, there's been a lot of reported cases where many animals have been treated with these products and have benefited significantly. Here's the man himself, Tibor, who is the inventor of this product, and he's had an incident here which he documented for us. Obviously, a gash to the head, which I think over a short space of time, he actually got quite a surprising result. If you look here after the first hour to the third hour, the healing process in this is quite rapid. You'd expect to see something like this over possibly a couple of days or so. This one is after 6 hours. And, we've all had cuts and sort of knocks in our time, and we can all relate to something like this. But clearly here, if this is the result after 6 hours, then that says a lot about this actual product. Okay, varicose veins, very common problem in a lot of people really. And if you look here with the amount of usage, here is 8 weeks of usage. That's the sensitive spray along with the actual body lotion as well. So what would happen is that's like a secondary application with the lotion, which is essentially the same product, but in a lotion form. So 8 weeks of usage. Now, one thing I found a lot, which I'll mention now, is, it's like anything. If there's a purpose for a product, it has to be used. I've come across people already who seem to think that, one dosage or a smell of something or a coating or something is going to work some sort of magic. Well, this is clearly not the case. That will never be the case. Depending on the severity or the extreme or the deepness of the complaint, you can then gauge by what kind of frequency you can use the product. And there's enough information out there from current users, from history, if you like, who can tell you exactly how the product should be applied. And if we get a commitment from a person, who does actually want to benefit themselves in some way, then you do need to use this product. And bear in mind, it's 100% natural as well, so there's nothing like that to worry about, as in with regards to overuse. But it's important it's applied sufficiently to get you the result. Used with babies as well, absolutely no problem. And in this example here, you can see it's a burned tummy. After 4 days. The thing here to note is relating to what I've just identified with the frequency. This is every 15 to 20 minutes the product was applied. There's a lot of examples here. There's a few more coming up here shortly. You'll see where the product has been used for a particular concern, and that's where you get in to see results like this. General use as well. If I go by myself, I'm in touch with, I've not had any issues like this, but sort of general use for life, sort of daily routine, if you like. The typical person could be using Oricon spray maybe a couple of times a day, even up to 3 times. So somebody who's got a complaint like a burn or a cut or something like that would generally be using it a lot more, or even at a higher frequency. So here are the same photos again. The child's been sent home after 4 days after using Oricon sensitive. After 4 days, that is, not only is it sort of rapid repair of the skin, but if you look at the way it's repaired as well, it seems to have been done in a sort of a clean way, if you like, Okay, more examples here of use of the product. 3 weeks, constant use. Again, using the sensitive one, with it being the face. And after 5 weeks, you can see from here, you can just barely make out the mark where we had this scar. Diabetic feet, again, this is quite a common complaint, especially with the elderly. And in many cases, it leads to amputation. Now, if you look at some of the examples here, there have been many reported cases by the use of this product. It has saved limbs, which obviously for people in that condition, that's a godsend. Here they are aside, over 5 days of use with the lather Oricon spray. Melanoma, you should all know, is a form of cancer. And generally what happens with these, they are cut out of the skin. But here, this has been avoided by using this product. And this is showing you here the difference over 6 weeks. Not a pretty picture at all. But you can see that's a fresh cut wound. Now, this one, there's no surgery with this one, but by only using the products, you'll see here the improvements. After 6 weeks. That's like a scar that you get after sort of stitches and hospitalization. But here, by use of the product, you can see how the repair side of this product actually works. Bruising, which is very common again. In some cases, some people bruise very easily. I mean, that's quite a nasty one you've got there, and quite a large size as well. 12 days with the product, and it's gone. There you are alongside each other as well. Okay, this is an interesting one. This particular lady here, she has been demonstrating the product over a lengthy period of time, and what you've got is naturally she'd be picking up the Oricum spray with one hand. In this case, it would be her right hand. And she, as she demonstrates and talks about the product, she's been spraying it onto her left hand. And then I think it's only after a matter of time that you realise there's actually a difference in the skin. And if you look at the two hands, they look like the hands of two different people. The left hand, which has been receiving all the spray, is actually cleaned up, as opposed to the right one, which still has marks there. Very old lady here. And you can see from that, that is not pleasant to look at at all. Now, this is the important thing here to know, 30 doses. 30 doses, again, you know, that's heavy use of the spray. And again, you know, for depending on the actual extremity of the case, that should indicate what kind of dosage we should be applying the product. After all, it's the result that we want. So that's something to see there, which has made a significant improvement there. So again, alongside each other, 12 months to 24 hours. Okay, again, here you can see here the lady, shingles, but the side of her face is actually dropped here. Now, my understanding is it can't be verified that it's only Oricum alone which has got the result here in this particular case. Allergic reaction, again, I'm sure we've all had one of these. Some people are prone to them, you know, they step outside and they get some sort of reaction. But again, the thing to note here is the time scale involved. That is quite remarkable that after 3 hours, the person's sat up there, which is virtually showing no sign of the reaction at all. So that's something to note. This one again is an interesting one. This lady in America, she's a cosmetologist, and what you've got here is she received a very nasty burn, and from that burn, her father, actually being in Poland, had actually given her that spray, and when she told him, he identified to her to use it, and I think she was instructed to spray it virtually non-stop. And my understanding is I think she used the bottle within 1 week. And if you look at these different slides, you'll see how quick the skin began to repair. This is after 7 days. That's like a normal hand. Albinism. Again, use of the product from the first month to the 5 months, you can see how the pigmentation has changed over that period of time. Okay, so I did say to you there's in the region of 29 products we're looking at the moment in the whole of the 5 different segments. Now, Lavol is the most universally used, if you like, and as well as the spray, there are other products which work alongside depending on what your needs are. Now, Lavol hair actually is something I use myself. It's quite a pleasant experience with regards to a conditioner, and I tend to sort of, and there's a lot of information you can read, there's a lot you can be told about products, and I'm one of those who really likes to see for myself. And this is one of the reasons why I'm involved with this, because I am intrigued, and I'm sort of learning as I go about the whole concept and the marketing plan. But at the same time, more important for me is the actual product. And one thing I can say to you at this stage, I've been using Level Hair for about a month now, and one common thing for me while showering is that when you rinse your hair, seeing your hair sort of disappear down the plug hole was quite common for me, and you live with it. It's one of those things. Well, I can confidently say to you, I do not see hair disappearing down the plug hole, which is quite a big thing for me, because I do lose a lot of hair generally, and it's very noticeable in this case. So that's one thing I have noticed at this stage. Anything above that at the moment, I can't say, because I think it's too early yet. The body lotion, a great product. For me, it works very, very closely along with the spray. The spray being what we call a base product. Well, in my opinion, this is a base product as well. They can be applied at the same time. Now, the spray is applied on the energy points. So that's the top of your head, forehead, which we call the third eye, throat region, and following down the center of your body and down to your waistline. And then on the reverse, from the back of your neck down to your lower back. And then also the spray can be applied directly onto the area of complaint, and that can be done. But additional to that also, some people, maybe in the mornings or in the evenings before they go to bed, they apply the actual lotion as a secondary measure. And it complements the spray quite nicely, actually, and works alongside. Again, it's the same product, but in a lotion form. A shower gel, well, self-explanatory. But again, it's something I do use. And what I have found is that you only need to use it once. It does a good clean. Again, the noticeable thing for me, I do train a lot, quite a lot of training, and therefore I sweat a lot. And there's areas on the body which, are irritated from regular training and regular sweating, if you like. So you get patches of maybe fungal areas, if you like, and dry skin or skin that's got signs of irritation. Well, this was something I observed, I think just last week, actually, after a month's use. My skin has cleaned up quite a lot. And in fact, I'm struggling to find areas now where there's these signs of irritation from, your material rubbing against you from training and sweating. So that, because, sometimes you do think, can we just get away with just using a spray and keep a spray? And why do we have to worry about these other products? That was my first thought, but I do now realize that, these other products do have a purpose. And this, again, is something you can only appreciate if you actually use them. In this case, again, I do have an example of a good benefit. Level 32, that's a mouth treatment, which, from everything from bleeding gums to swollen gums to sort of throat issues, ulcers, tongues. Now, tongues go through hell, and for me, that's one thing I've found which is quite welcome. Really, you get a sort of a detox of the mouth, if you like, and the sensation after using this is quite good. And the way I do it is you spray it into your mouth, you apply it onto the toothbrush, and away you go. Once a day with that, and then what I generally do is my second brush in the day is done with the normal good old Colgate. Additional to that, also, it can be used directly onto your skin, similar to the Oricon, more for the sort of hard bone regions of your body, your elbows, your knees, directly where you can feel the bone and be right close to your skin. Okay, Level Lymph. Well, it cleans out the lymph system, which is something that's very important. And one of the ways that we need to help this is, we need to move around a lot as well and exercise to prevent the clogging. So that's something, which assists that and is very, very effective. Lavil Olin. Alin or Olin, well, it's again, a lot of the products have names which, might sound a bit strange to start with, but there is a reason for them. And this really actually applies to, in this case, meaning All-in. And this product is a butter. They call it a butter. It's got that sort of texture. And there are capsules of about 1.5 centimeters, I'd say. And, they're edible. They are exactly how it reads there. They do help a lot in the nether region. So suppositories is probably one of the most common use for these. But there are cases where people have cut some of these down into 3 pieces and, 3 times throughout the day have actually ingested them. And so a very, very effective product, which again has its own. And again, the additional side to this as well, you can actually just have it in your hands and apply it directly onto your skin to benefit your skin. Okay, the nasal passage, a lot of problems with people sometimes to do with the nasal areas. And this is a major relief for that kind of thing. So, it's a product very much needed. Okay, the Solvil range, which I mentioned to you earlier, is a hardcore detox range. Industrialization, globalization, the way some of us work these days, the industries we're involved in, we sometimes forget what we're exposing our bodies to. So the bodies go through hell, but we come home, we jump in the shower and business as usual. Well, that's not the case. A lot of toxins, a lot of metals do enter our bodies. And that's what this range is made for, really. And, if you look at some of the jobs that people do, they're at a higher exposure than some other people. So, depending on where you are, how you're involved, this is something which is very much recommended. And from a detox point of view, they recommend the use of this once a year. And like I said, it is something that, it's not just a one-day program. This can take up to a month, depending on, what products you're actually using within the range. Full Flex is a product which is one of those in the range which I think it takes about 2 weeks for that actual process to go through. There's another one as well, Solvil. And then same with the level range with the body hair and clean. You've got the Solvil range, which is a bit more of a hardcore product. And again, based on, the idea of this again is for detox, and it'll do exactly the same as everything else, but to a deeper scale. This is a very popular one, XOSC, which is a serum base made from plant cells. And again, the main idea of this was to benefit the skin, repair the skin. And you only use it in a few drops at a time. And you can apply it straight to your face or other areas. And, it's a bit like anti-aging, if you like. And I think the important thing with this one is as you dispense it, the actual applicator there, which you remove from the bottle, is not supposed to touch your skin. You just squeeze it at the top and the drops will fall into your palm, and then you replace the lid back as quick as you can. And that's the same with a lot of the products as well. Obviously you open them to use them, but it has been stated that you put lids back on as quick as you can to contain all the goodness in there, and there's no escape. And obviously the other thing which I identified earlier on was that you shake these products before use. Okay, again, back with the same oil again, the many uses, with regards to the regeneration and on the anti-aging side. So, very, very common, very popular, I should say, with the ladies. Okay, this is a very much needed product as well from the Havel range, and a lot of people have issues in the intestine and the digestive area, and this is very effective. And depending on how extreme the case is, you could end up going through 1 or 2 bottles with this to get the result, and you dilute it with water. Another one in the Havel range, 3.I. It's a very small bottle. That picture's a bit deceiving there. It's no bigger than your thumb, really. And 3.I is, I think the 3 is more in reference to the mind, body, and soul, and the I referring to the third eye, which, for those of you who don't know, is pretty much smack bang in the center of your forehead, because that's the region this connects with or affects. And the way this is applied is you spray it under your tongue, a couple of bursts, which the taste of it, I think, when the first time you use it, you might, have that sort of weird sensation slightly with the slightly bitter, I think, but it's something that, as it lingers, you get used to it, and it's not a problem after that. Very good on the relaxation side. It sort of stabilizes the body, the mind, anxiety, depression, anxiousness, anything like that, nervousness. It's great for that. Again, it works along very well with the Oricum and the body lotions, depending on what your actual requirements are. Okay, won't dwell on this one too long for the performance side on the men. And apparently it's very hard to get your hands on this because it's always sold out. But I'm sure we can all work out what that's for. A relatively new product which Tibor has made, and you read that it prevents heart attack. Well, he's not just made the tablets; he's actually proved it in a graph, and through his study, and basically said there's more chance of you dying from anything else. But if you're taking this product, especially from the age of 50 upwards, there's a good chance you are not going to get a heart attack. Well, it's something they encourage people of that age bracket to use. But I think, if I remember correctly, there's an issue where the sugar increases in your body, but that's something we can check on. Here is the same product again, and by utilizing the product, the graph at the bottom you can see there is more stable, shown in green, as opposed to not using the product. This is the newest product in the range, and saying that, I did log into the website, into my account, I think it was yesterday, and I've seen a new box arrive along the products, which is showing as a coming soon. So that's quite exciting, meaning that there must be some new addition very, very soon. But this one currently is the newest product. And it's quite interesting how this has been described, really. Well, I think in a nutshell, they call it Viagra for the brain. Make of that what you will. But there's a story which Peter mentions, and I think it's a great example of how to describe it, where if you have a group of students who take this product, for example, over a period of time, and when they sit their exam, they score very high marks, very, very high marks. So you could say, it stimulates the brain and enables them to achieve at a high level. Or the other way of looking at it is, how did they receive those high marks? Was it to do with the fact they took this product to create more awareness in the brain, or was it that they actually developed an ability to see what the question was going to be? So, again, make of that what you will. Okay, the product, well, the list is endless. You can go online, you can join these webinars, you can listen in, you can check on YouTube. There are people in a lot of corners of the world who are sharing their experiences with this product. In fact, there's a lady today we met, and one of the points she raised was, why have I not seen Lavalites advertised anywhere? Well, the reason for that is because they simply don't need to. The use of the product, the sharing of the information, the experience through webinars or mouth to mouth or in group meetings, whichever way you want to describe it, is the true advertising of the product. So, you meet people who use these and you listen to them and they tell you, and especially if you know them on a close level, You might be aware of what kind of illness or problem they've had, and you understand how serious it might be. And then by using this product, you can see the results. Well, that's the true advertising of the product. And then the second reason why Lavilites don't advertise is because it costs a lot of money. Now, everybody knows that, especially those in business. Advertisement can run into thousands or hundreds of thousands, depending on which way you do it. Lavilites believes if we don't do the advertising, we let the product do the advertising itself, and then the money we save from that, we'd rather give it back to all the members, which again is very welcome. Now, one of the ways we do this is you obviously become a member, which is not contractual. There's no obligation to get your hands on the product. That's the best way to do it. You know where the product's coming from, and you have a set price, which is the same payable by absolutely everybody who's a member. And then that way also, you know, you're receiving the product directly from the manufacturer, which is in Hungary, in Budapest. And then by doing that, you actually become a member and you have the option to make use of this system for multi-level marketing, which is known as the hybrid binary system. Now that system is absolutely magnificent if you can understand it. When you can't understand it, you'll be probably pulling your hair out. So let me explain a little bit more about that. Here's the product range. So those of you who are thinking about becoming a member, this is what you will see when you log in. And this information will tell you what you can expect if you pursue this as a business as you go along. So products, you can see are listed there along the left-hand side. And yes, their prices are in euros. And the reason for that is because it's a European company. In this case here, the prices are inclusive of a 27% tax, which is Polish tax, VAT if you like. And the points on the right-hand side are quite simply, you get to that figure by removing the tax from the club price. So what are the points? Well, the points are something you accrue as you purchase products, or even if you bring in members. And these points actually equal to euros. One of the great things with this is you can utilize these same points for actually purchase of the products, which will enable you to receive up to 90% discount of the club price. So if you buy Oricom after your first purchase, if you like, over a period of time, you've accrued points, you can pay 90% of that 76 euros 26 in points, and the remaining 10% will be paid with any other mean, be it card, PayPal, or whatever it may be. Okay. Bear with me. Sorry. Okay, if you pay attention to this first box up here, please. How you become a member. Introduction by somebody who no doubt already is a member and has either used the product and been amazed by it, or is also somebody who is involved in the business side. They can introduce you to the product, they can become your sponsor, and that enables you to become a member. So you can do that by parting with 49 euros in this case. Now, this is the minimum requirement to become a member, and it's a basic membership, this one, if you like. It will enable you to purchase the product, be registered on the system, and it doesn't really get any more exciting than that. It's not one that's encouraged, actually, because if you look at the prices of a lot of these products here, and Oricom being one of the most common ones bought, it does equate to more than what the minimum is. So it makes sense to look at the second option, which is a minimum of the 99 euros, which in this case is 80 PV. So again, the PVs are, it's a figure that you arrive at by taking away the tax from the euro price there. And that's how you get the PV, and the PV also equals the euros that you accumulate. So this position here is what we encourage here as a minimum entry to get into to become a member in the business. Now, this will give you one position in the business binary plan, and to get to that spend, what I've found is that if you buy a bottle of Oricum and you buy a bottle of the body lotion, both of those items is 62 and 18 equals 80 PV. And that is what you would need to enter in at this level. Now, what this will enable you to do, you can carry on buying products as and when you need it. You may not be interested in the business side, which is absolutely no problem. You can buy product as you need it. But if later on, there are members of your family or people within your circle who want to become members, you can introduce them as a member with this plan, and you will receive certain rewards. Okay. This option here, which is the top level, is again an entry of a lot higher, which is 492 euros, which if you take away the tax equals 400 PV, 400 points, 400 euros. And that one is the proper business pack, is what they've called it. And this will enable you to have 3 positions on the actual binary tree, which may not make much sense at this moment in time. But if those of you sitting out there, whether you are business minded or not. If you have a business background, then without hesitation, I encourage you to look at this option here. Now, spend wiser is a lot more, but not only because of the business reason, the other reason is because you receive a lot of product. Now, bear one thing in mind, you only are paying for product. There's no registration fee. There's no, any other charge whatsoever involved in this. It's all product. So what we part with out of our pockets, we receive product in return. So you can't argue with that. And if you are one of those who's quite interested with a lot of the products there that are down the left-hand side, and you feel there'll be some there that you or others will be making use of, it makes sense to buy a business pack of the 400 PV value. And that will, there's a variety of packs to choose from actually, but generally you can pick up something like 10 items, and that will give you a good understanding of the product, which you can pass around and will use. Okay. So by joining and becoming a member and looking at the last 2 options, I said that's 80 PV and 400 PV, you potentially have 7 ways that you can be rewarded. 7 commissions, 7 bonuses, you call them what you like. But the system, this hybrid binary system that is utilized here is actually very rewarding. As an idea, look, you got the first here, which is a start bonus. The second where you get rewarded is a start pool, personal bonus, binary, matching, lifestyle leader, and then heaven and glory, the super top level here. Now, that tells me that, there's something here we can work towards. Again, if you're on the business level side, there's plenty here to get your teeth into. But if you're not, that's not a problem. This could be something that could be triggered at a later stage. This is a very, very effective tool that they use, which is not new. It's I think this particular one is about 10 years old now, and some of the most successful multi-level marketing companies out there utilize this method. Right. A lot of information here about the binary system. So what I'll say to you guys now is, if you've already got your sort of heads in your hand, don't worry. I could not understand much of this at all when it was first shown to me. And, if you persevere, you deal with it in bite sizes, you have the right people around you, and you sort of tackle it on a daily basis or every other day. Each time you visit it, you will gain something. Your information and knowledge will grow as you go along. So this ladder, if you like, this scale is potentially what you can achieve from a member point of view. So at the bottom, when you sign up as introduced by a sponsor, you will become a member, be it a member who's entered through ATPV or entered with the big business pack of 400 PV. And by doing that, your sponsor will receive 20% commission. Bear with me 1 second. These percentages here that you see at this side here, these are what the company, this is the percentage of volume that's paid back from your first purchase. So if I introduce somebody today and they become a member, they will enter here at this level. I will receive back 20% of the volume that they purchased, which is the first purchase. So that first purchase is actually critical. It's important the right one is made, i.e. which business pack or which level they want to enter in at. Because once that's in, that's final. You know, you're going to stay at that position. And then additional to that as well, if you are going to enter ATPV and let's say you buy 2 products and then within a week you think, you know what, I want to get 2 more, well, you seriously need to consider it may have been a better option for you to go with the larger option. Now, whichever case it may be, your sponsor will receive this percentage depending on what level they are at. Now, this is the great thing about this Lavie Lights company. On a weekly basis, they calculate the worldwide turnover, and the net value of that is paid back to the members. It's distributed amongst the members. Now, that's a lot. And this, again, answers the question with regards to advertising. And you start introducing things like that, no doubt that 58% will start to dwindle down to lower figures. So this is why this is considered as very rewarding, very profitable. And some people take serious advantage of that. You have different levels, which as you introduce members and the membership grows under your tree, you are able to then start to work your way up the scale. As you work the way up the scale, you are able to, by introducing new members again, you are able to receive a higher percentage of their first purchase. And this is 58% when you hit titanium and beyond. Okay. So that's the start bonus. First purchase by a new member, this is what you receive. Okay, any given week, and the business runs on a weekly basis, calculations are done Monday to Monday. So that's considered as the working week. Within that 1 week, we introduce new members. If we end up producing or introducing 2 members, the company Lavie Lights will pay us 1 share. So here, this is you. You've introduced 2 members in 1 week. The company gives you 1 share. Now, a share could equal to something like 15 PV up to 65. I mean, that's like 15 euro. And I think the highest I've heard mentioned is something like 85 euro. So every 2 people introduced, every 2 members equals 1 share. So if you introduce 4, you get 2 shares. If you introduce 6 people, you get 3 shares, and so on and so on. So that is additional to what I've already just mentioned. Auto activer. Now, some of you who really get into this, you have a facility on your account which you can trigger and set up, which is called auto activer. And basically what this is on a monthly basis, you pick the date. You can select certain lines that you are using regularly, which you want delivered without ordering, automatic delivery and charging. Now, if you select that option on your account, there is an additional bonus you receive. You will receive an extra 20% cashback, if you want to call it, refund from anything above ATPV. So let's make this clear. I set up an auto activator today on my account for ATPV, which if you want to take the Oricum and the body lotion equals ATPV. If I set that up as an auto activator and After that date, for the remaining part of that month, that business month, any other further purchase I do, I will qualify for a 20% additional refund on top of the value of that product. So that's a very worthwhile refund again. And especially for those who will probably want to start to, use a variety of products, that's definitely worth taking into account. This binary bonus is probably one of the most critical, really. It's one of those which everybody wants who is going to take this seriously as a business. And the way it works is you can see two legs there being formed, in this case, the left and the right. This is you. And as you introduce people, they start to add on people themselves. You add on more people. And in a nutshell, the way this one works is each leg or each side on a weekly basis has a turnover. So the example used here, this is a 10,000 turnover on the left, 20,000 turnover on the right. And what the binary bonus will do is, according to the weaker side, which in this case is the left-hand side, we will receive back 10% of the total turnover. So the total turnover on the left-hand side in this case is 10,000 PV. Therefore, we qualify for 1,000 euros, which is 10% of 10,000. And this is the weaker side, the weaker leg, because obviously here this is a greater value. Now, that is a lot of money. And also what you need to realize is this is calculated, excuse me, from people's repurchasing, people who are repurchasing. So when they made the first purchase, some people may not purchase again for a while, or they may not purchase again. That will not earn us anything. People who start to repurchase or reorder products after the first purchase will then trigger this binary bonus. And again, it'll be calculated on a weekly basis. Now, I mentioned two memberships to you earlier on, very quickly. One was an 80 PV membership, and the other one was a 400 PV membership. And this is critical to you deciding which one you would use, or choose rather. The company does not stop you growing members at all. You can go on till infinity, no problem. Add on as many people as you like, left leg, right leg. But what they will do is cap how much you can earn on a binary bonus. So that cap happens to be 10,000 PV per week. That's per week, not month. Okay, and what that then means is if you entered in an 80 PV, once you hit 10,000 PV, like in this example here, you will achieve €1,000 as a binary bonus. Now, if this grew further and we got this to 12,000 PV, it doesn't matter, you're still only going to get the 1,000 because you're capped at 10,000 PV. If you chose the other option, 400 PV membership, which is the larger membership, it will allow us the option of earning up to 30,000 PV per week, because we will get two further positions allocated to us further down the binary tree. Again, this may be confusing for people, may not be easy to understand, but by all means, speak to your sponsor, speak to people in the know, and we can give you answers here. Matching bonus, another bonus again, which is really to do with the income of the leaders, and we make a percentage of their earnings. So these kind of bonuses I'm talking about now are going up quite high from a performance point of view. So, a lot of work has to be done before we start to hit these kind of levels. But again, worthwhile bonuses. A lifestyle bonus, again, when you reach the leader level here, team leader, you will start to receive an annual payment direct from Lavy Lights. You can see here on the left-hand side. And it's called a lifestyle bonus because many people class it exactly as that. Some people use that money. You can use it for whatever you like. It's totally up to you. Some people might decide to run and fund a vehicle. Some might run a holiday every year with it. It's your money. You decide what you want to do. Leader pool. Now this again is heaven and glory. These 6 legs up here, 6 stages. These people are superhuman. What they've done to get to here, only they know. And, this is something which many will only dream of. but I think if you'll put your heart and mind to it, it can be achieved because there are examples. Maybe be only a few. There are people out there who are sitting on them levels. And what the company will do here, Lavi Lights, as a reward is again, the total turnover, they will pay 5% of that to each one of these positions. So the 5% there is distributed along the top 5 positions. The business packs, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't matter which one of these you choose, they will be 400 PV, and it will entitle you to 3 positions. Level small, well, you got the small size products. Not one of the ones I'd recommend really, because I don't think the value for money as opposed to the large products, and they've got a tendency of running out. You know, if you are a heavy user. So one I do recommend is a level big. Everything's large size. There's 10 products in the pack. You get them delivered within 3 to 4 days to your door, and it gives you a good selection of product to work with, and you can actually get a good understanding of the product, pass it around to family and friends, and that's something I recommend. This here is referring to the 2 additional positions, which later on in the stage you will be able to place yourself in, again, the binary tree, which will enable you to extra earnings, and that only is achievable with the business pack at 400 PV. Right, sense of urgency. You can go on and say now people will identify to you that, listen, this is something you need to take note of, get on and don't miss the chance and deal with it. Well, sorry, it's loading slowly again, but there is a genuine reason why we do have this slide here. And when it decides to load properly, I'll explain it to you. You are creating a network, and I did mention to you earlier that Lavi Lights has just entered the UK. So, you know, we are at it's a golden opportunity. Them are the words that come to mind, you know, and it can only be a golden opportunity if we are in it, if we are in position. So, again, it's still loading, but here you got yourself and you are creating members, and each member goes off. Some may not be productive. Some may start to produce their own downline of members, which is the idea. And so you've got some good growth here. And the importance of the agency, well, the point here being made is this person here has joined the downline after this one, which is the 5th. So this could be someone, if you like, he was introduced at the same time as all these other guys, and he sort of thought about it, went away, I'll think about it, sat on it, forgot about it, come back to him again, and something triggered him, and he then decided to actually become a member. So there was a delay. Nevertheless, whichever time he decided, he was entered here. Unlucky for him, the person who decided to join before him was an individual who's progressed with this quite rapidly, and through his network, he has ended up creating a member who has, in this example here, gone off to Indonesia. Now, the network starting to be created in Indonesia will all start to pay back along this line here and then up here, which therefore means this individual has missed that golden opportunity, and he will not receive anything from this line here. Hence the urgency, sense of urgency. This will show you why we think it's the right time to join. Generally, with all multi-level marketing companies, global companies, they have a growth period, then they have a peak period, and then, if you like, a mature period. Well, I have mentioned on several occasions to you now, Lavi Lights is new to the UK. And from judging by the potential and the results that we've had in the rest of Europe, it's a given. It's a guarantee that the UK is going to go extremely well. But the question is, when do you join? When do you make your decision to actually become a member and start to get your head into the system? Well, if you join at the beginning, which we class here as the pioneer market, the early days of the growth. We have a potential of reaching up to 70% in growth. So that is a very good time to do it. If we sit on it for a while and ponder and think about it, and we come into this stage here, which is marked as the dynamic growth, if we enter at this stage, we have the potential of, let's say, 20% growth. And then you've got the mature market here at the end, which, again, if we decide to join here, then we're only looking at about 10% growth. And that is probably not worth it. Hence, now is the time. Another way of explaining that is if you look at this world map, depending on how long you leave it, can decide how much of the pie, how big the piece of the pie will be that you will get. Okay. The website, before you log on to lavilights.com, this is the website. You'll all see it's universal. Everybody will see the same thing. You're able to log in and access your account and look at products and get a lot of information. This one is just to give you an idea of the kind of earnings. Well, again, I did say to you, some of these people are superhuman. They have made some major achievements, but guarantee you one thing, these figures are real. And you can see the kind of numbers or figures we're running into here, into the 30,000s, 20,000s, which is a lot of income on a weekly basis. This individual here is a shot, I think it was taken in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, of a particular guy in Hungary who really got his head down and went through the rankings considerably quick. These figures here show you what his earnings were from when he was a member, which will be the first stage, and then every stage thereon. But if you see here, things like titanium, and bear in mind, these figures are weekly, not monthly. So in this example here, when he reached titanium, his weekly earning was 5,500 euros. So, you know, this again is very high levels of money. But I think, you know, even if we didn't achieve that and we achieved 30% of that, well, in my books, that's still a lot of money. Right. Well, we all know the story of Mark Zuckerberg. Invited 5 people, 3 of them didn't show, 2 of them are now rolling in pound notes or dollars even, and 3 people are probably kicking themselves from that day. So it's about the missed opportunity. And I think it is totally relevant to us here as well, because what we have here is a totally unique product, which I'll give you a little insight to earlier on with the science and technology involved. And as well as having a totally unique product, it is new to the UK, which is very, very important. And as well as being totally new, it is utilizing a magnificent system known as the hybrid binary system, which, again, I'll give you a brief oversight there as how rewarding it can be. So it clearly is a golden opportunity for those who are serious about turning this into a business. And those who aren't can certainly, like everybody else, make use of the product and play their part by sharing the news about the benefits they're receiving. So that's it, folks. Think about it. We're here to shake your hand and welcome you and give you all the help and support you need. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully see you very, very soon.